Hello everyone, Jed was bored here, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been honestly wanting to do for a little while. But one of my friends, Ultrasonic Bricks, go check out his channel. I was watching one of his live streams, and that's mostly what inspired me to actually start making this video. So today I'm going to be going over all the Transformers television continuities, and I will be giving my thoughts on all the shows and saying which ones that I'd recommend starting with if you want to get into Transformers. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, quick note. I'm going to explain what I mean by television. That means I'm going to go over the movies and the TV shows. No comics, no books, also no video games, just things you can go onto your TV and watch. Okay? Y'all got that? Alright, so I'm going to start with the first ever Transformers cartoon, Generation 1 show, which aired from 1984 to 1987. It was your basic 90s, or basic 80s cartoon. Just a team of good guys and a team of bad guys. The bad guys tried to do some evil plot, and the good guys had to go stop them. That's basically it. The plot changed every episode because kids cartoon. Personally, it's one of my favorites, just because it's entertaining and all that. I'm very basic, but yes, if a lot of older fans swear by it, it's pretty good. It's pretty long. It's 90 something episodes plus a movie, which is quite good. This is where it kind of gets confusing because, believe it or not, the G1 cartoon isn't the only cartoon in the G1 universe. There was also this one in the 90s called Beast Wars, which apparently takes place in the same universe, which is a little bit hard to believe, but you can watch it different. It's just kind of fun to watch it all at once. And then after Beast Wars, there was this show called Beast Machines, which we don't need to worry about. That show is terrible, and I'm only on episode 5 or 6 of it. It's not that good. I'm basically just watching it to watch it. Gotta go through all of them, you know? I don't recommend Beast Machines. Yeah, Beast Machines marked the end of the G1 era, and because it flopped so terribly, Hasbro decided to start a new continuity. The Unicron trilogy. That was a very mixed one and had 3 shows in it. Armada, Energon, and Cybertron. Armada, that one, what's a good way to say? It's like Pokemon, but Transformers. There are these little things these little bots called Minicons, and they were super powerful. And because they were super powerful, both the Autobots and the Decepticons wanted them to fight the war. So the Autobots helped send the Minicons far away to a distant planet from Cybertron. But once the battle started to get worse, the Autobots and Decepticons both sent troops to the planet to try to get the Minicons back to help the war. And that planet just so happened to be Earth. So, yeah, that's basically the plot of Armada. It's both the toys and the show. Gotta catch them all, get all the Minicons before those idiots do. You can put that in for both Autobots and Decepticons. Armada was a really good show, in my opinion. It had a little bit of clunky writing, but it had a unique Starscream. There was only 3 characters. 3 characters who are almost perfect bringovers from G1. Only 2. Optimus and Megatron. They were basically the exact same. They had different gimmicks. And Starscream, he was more he wasn't the backstabbing, sniveling traitor that he usually is. He's honorable and he actually believed in the Decepticon cause. He was an actual Decepticon instead of just kind of there to hopefully get the lead. which, yeah, I really like Armada. And then it was immediately followed by Energon, which sucks. Not as bad as Beast Machines, but it's still terrible. It was so there was this fuel called Energon that is throughout the world, and throughout Earth and on other planets. So the Autobots and Decepticons, they each have different gimmicks. The Autobots can all combine in a shirt and pants style. Like one becomes the top half of a robot, the other becomes the bottom half, and they combine. I just love the name shirt and pants combination, so that's what it's going to be known as from now on. And the Decepticons, they could just like harness Energon to create these really powerful weapons or something. Pitiful. But yeah, it was basically them in a fight for Energon, which is pretty cool. It was, I mean, for a TV show, it was okay. It was passable, I guess. The biggest complaint people had was there was the main human, Kicker. He's super annoying. He just complains all the time and he never listens to anyone. Yeah, no one liked him when they watched that show. Apparently, a lot of people quit watching the show because he was so annoying. But it was a cool gimmick. It was in the same universe as Energon, or same universe as Armada, which is cool. But yeah, most people just didn't like that show. But the toys, they're still famous. I own most of them. Or not most, I own 3 of them. I'm trying to buy some others. So, yeah, Energon, not that good. And Hasbro realized their mistake, and they immediately followed it up with the single greatest show ever known to Hasbro history. Transformers Cybertron. I love that show. Number 1 Transformers show, in my opinion. It also, like the other ones, it kind of had the find this before the other guys do thing. There was these things called the Cyber Planet keys. I have an example right here, where there were 4 planets, and all of them had a unique Cyber Planet key. And the Autobots wanted all 4, so they could get them and bring Primus back to life to ward off this black hole that was created by the destruction of Unicron. And the Decepticons want it to make the black hole more powerful. It was a really good show, really good cast, really good acting. The humans, probably the best humans of all time. And the gimmick, where I don't really have a decent example, but Excellion. How, Hotshot, for example, that's who this is based off. He would work imagine he's in car mode. He'd get the cyber key powered up, and these wings would pop out, and it'd make him super fast. That's his example. Optimus could combine with something to create a really big flying Optimus. There was a character who, when he did that, he could... he got a giant machine gun. Starscream got giant swords. It was a really interesting gimmick, and all the toys in that line were spring-loaded. You put it in, it activated automatically. It's a really nice gimmick, and a really nice show. You can tell I have a tad bit of bias for it. One thing that I should point out is the Unicron trilogy. It started a trend that's honestly pretty common nowadays, where I'll think of it if you've seen the live action movies, slight spoiler, in one of them Megatron dies or is taken out. He gets upgraded into Galvatron, and then in the next movie he's back to Megatron. This was something started technically back in G1 because they tried to kill off Megatron to become Galvatron. And no one liked Galvatron, or some people, they liked him, but they were like, no, this isn't Megatron. Megatron's way better than this. So in the G2 comic, they brought back Megatron. So our how the Unicron trilogy dealt with this was at some point in the show, Megatron gets like decommissioned, like he gets really beaten up, or he finds something, and it supercharges him into this really all-powerful mode that he calls Galvatron. He changes his name to Galvatron. Then then at the end of the show, he's defeated, killed, or something. Something happens to him, and at the beginning of the next show, he's back to being Megatron, looking way different. Then halfway through that show, he gets taken out, becomes Galvatron, gets taken out in that, comes back as Megatron, and gets taken out as becomes Galvatron, and is taken out. And this is something that's shown through many shows. A lot of shows do this. It's quite interesting. And so now you know why that happens. Alright, right here, we're going to go over another one of my favorites, the next animated show that came out after Cybertron. And if you guys know where I'm going, I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of comments that like, oh, but Judd was bored. There was the live action movies came out around this time too. Shut up. This is my review. I'll go over the Bay movies after I finish with Transformers Animated. Animated is way better than the Bayverse movies. So Animated was another semi-big reboot for the movies. It takes place in the universe post-war, like the war already ended, and it's these team of 5 heroic Autobot. I'm sorry, let me check my notes. Nope, 5 space bridge repairmen. They find the Allspark, and the Decepticons attack them. They somehow manage to defeat Megatron, despite knowing nothing, and they crash land into this body of water near this inhabited city. And Megatron's body, most of the head, crashes to the ground, and some guy finds it. Fast forward 50 years, Detroit. The Autobots are awoke. They wake up. They get more like rescue-based modes, like a military truck, ambulance, because Ratchet's there. Optimus becomes a fire truck, which is honestly probably my favorite mode for him, outside of the G1 flat-nose truck. But, anyway, and all that other stuff, and they basically become superheroes. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, rescue-based heroes, but they actually fight the Decepticons every once in a while. And, yeah, that's another one of my favorite shows. Really good character, really good all that. Oh, what's funny is how much of the story it changed. Like, they introduced Black Arachnia, who was introduced in Beast Wars. Except, oh no, she actually hasn't always been Black Arachnia. She actually used to be Elita 1. You realize what the fans would do if this show released in 2025. No one would like it, because, like, this was before the aligned continuity happened, and there was, like, all the shows mostly follow this one definitive, like, chain, like, they all have very similar backstories, all this. This was before that. Like, right before that. Because this show was canceled for Prime to make its debut. Transformers Prime. So, yeah, Transformers Animated is definitely one of my favorites, if you can't tell. It's a very good show. I highly recommend it. And this is where we get to the Bay movies. The Transformers fandom is very split on this. Some people think they're amazing, greatest things ever created. Like, that's the definitive Transformers universe. Other people are like, too many. It's not, like, most people, though, think that they're not that good. I'm one of the second. I'm in the latter group. They are not that good, in my opinion. the only way I can describe it is like they're too much. Too much explosion, too much. They're too crazy. But yeah, all the 5 of the movies fit kind of the same thing. Like, the Autobots have to beat the Decepticons to get to this. As I heard it described as like the MacGyver, or what is it called? MacGyver, I think. Like the thing that you need to get. Like that's the whole plot. And yeah, all 5 of the movies, if you ask me, are basically just carbon copies of each other. They get worse. Well, I don't want to say they get worse and worse because there's the 2007 Transformers movies, which I'll admit is probably one of the better ones. Then they released Revenge of the Fallen, which sucked. It absolutely sucked. And then there was Dark of the Moon, which I think was an okay movie, so. Then Age of Extinction came out, which is my personal favorite of the Bay movies. Just, I like Mark Wahlberg, okay? And then there was The Last Knight, which there is no redeeming whatsoever. No one is able to redeem that. It single-handedly killed the Transformers franchise and why TF1 flopped, which I will never forgive Paramount for. And why did they decide to bring back Michael Bay? He's the guy who ruined all this. That Paramount Plus. Don't. How about this? Paramount. Fire Michael Bay. Create the Transformers 1 sequel. People will watch that. Just do it. Now. Alright. Now we are at the aligned continuity. This is one of the longest running ones. This one lasted almost 10 years. I think it was... So it started with the TV show Transformers Prime, which is most people's introduction to the show. It was a much more Bayverse-esque show. The designs were more Bayverse inspired, and the characters were more Bayverse inspired, but it was still better than the Bayverse. It fit the formula as all the other Transformers shows before it, and it's in my top 3. It's my 3rd favorite show. It was also one of my first, but after 3 seasons of that plus a movie, everyone thought it was over. Nope, they did not end that continuity. They released a show called Transformers Robots in Disguise, or known to fans as RID 2015, because there was an RID in 2001, which I did not cover because it was technically, I counted as Japanese Transformers show, because it was just up from Japanese. That's it. RID 2015 had a very mixed following, and frankly, I'm not even fully done with it yet. But I think it was an okay show. Yeah, there's not much to say about that one. And immediately after it, what came was Rescue Bots and Rescue Bots Academy, which, believe it or not, both take place in 2015 RID, or in the aligned continuity. I think Blur has a cameo in RID. And, of course, Bumblebee and Optimus make a lot of appearances in Rescue Bots. Although, personally, I do much prefer... I haven't gotten to those yet, though. Don't know if I will or not, but, yeah, they exist. Minor indent here, I almost forgot to include the Prime Wars trilogy, which is Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and Power of the Primes. There's not much to say about those. Those just kind of fleshed out the Primes a little bit and showed a heroic Megatron, kind of, like he was a good person trying to help the Autobots defeat Megatronus and, what's his name? Unicronus or something. Some crazy thing like that. But, yeah, it was a pretty good show. So, or a pretty good trilogy. It's free on YouTube that you guys can, check that out. So next up, we have Transformers Cyberverse, which is a pretty good TV show. It's a little bit more like kid focused, although I still say it's one of the better ones. It's really funny. Has like, it's super successful. It has 3 seasons and like basically 2 movies, which is really nice. So I really like that. It's just a lot more of a fun show. There's not much notable stuff about it. It's just, I really like it personally. I don't have much else to say. Check it out if you want a more like lighthearted Transformers show. Well, there's one arc where it wasn't really that lighthearted, but it was still quite good. And let's not forget, this is about the time when the single greatest live-action movie came out, Bumblebee. I'm a big Bumblebee fan. I have like, if you remember for the Bumblethon, I have like 20-something figures of him total. So the Bumblebee movie, that was amazing. And its sequel, Rise of the Beasts, was a bit less amazing, but still really good. It was still a fun movie. Not really much notable stuff to say about all that. And now we're at the time when Transformers toys had a big overhaul, and what many people call the United, or in like the United period or something like that. I don't remember what it's called, but basically, the War for Cybertron trilogy came out, and basically every Transformer from then on has sort of followed the same formula, which I'm not complaining about. Like, you can see it here, like, all the millimeter pegs, like, those were some semi-unheard of, I think. But now they're pretty common, which I like. Yeah. The shows that came out with the War for Cybertron trilogy, Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom, they were just 6 episodes each, and they were okay. Yeah, there's, again, not much you can say about it, although it's still a pretty good series, especially because it really brought back Beast Wars in Kingdom, because it was Beast Wars' 15th anniversary. So, of course, fans loved that, or was it 20th anniversary? One of the two. It was some Beast Wars anniversary, so they brought back the Beast Wars characters, and everyone loved all that. Yeah, I kind of wish I was still around. I was a Transformers fan during the War for Cybertron trilogy, because some of those toys are amazing, and I want to get my hands on some. Fortunately, all I have really is just, well, I have like 1 or 2 from the War for Cybertron toy line, but yeah, not much. Yeah, sadness. I'm just gonna brush over this. There's a show called Earthspark that's also out. I don't watch that though, so I don't know any of my things to say about that, although I do have a few of the toys. So, yeah, I don't know what to think about that one. And there's also Cyberworld, which just came out this year, which, it's okay. Not much to say about it. And finally, we are at Transformers 1. Greatest movie, greatest Transformers movie of all time. It's a very good show, or very good movie. It tells the origin of all the Transformers, like kind of blends together all the origins to create one definitive one. Even though they already tried to do that with the Aligned trilogy, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, you should watch it. And also be sure on every social, spam hashtag SaveTF1sequel. We need to get a sequel. We need the sequel. Alright, now for the whole reason I made this video. If you are watching this video, or you were sent it, well, if you were sent it, you'd still be watching the video, but if you either just stumbled upon this video because you want to become a Transformers fan, or you were sent this because one of your friends is a Transformers fan and is trying to get you addicted like we are, and I will let you know, these things are addicting. What show or movie do you start with? I say if we're talking movies, definitely start with Transformers 1. That's like the baseline storyline. You can basically apply that to almost any of the other shows, and except animated, and it will make sense. But if you don't like watching movies and you prefer like TV shows or something, it depends. If you like your stories like a little bit more lighthearted and all that, do like Transformers animated, that's pretty good, or what's it called? Transformers animated, or if you're fine with some like funny but cringeworthy moments, watch G1. Or I would say Cybertron, but you have to watch animated you have to watch Armada and Energon first, which could be a little bit of a chore, but it's worth it to watch Cybertron. But back to the point. So animated for more lighthearted stories. And if you like a bit more, like darker, or not really dark, but like a little bit like mature stories, for lack of better words, Prime is always a good starting point. It's like the Bayverse, it was actually good and a little bit more kid friendly, I guess. And but I know G1. Basically, you can start anywhere, but the best starting parts. Okay, let me recap. So for a movie, Transformers 1. For a more lighthearted show, animated. For a bit darker show, Prime. Or if you're absolutely psychotic, start with the Bayverse movies, although I can't really judge you for that since that's kind of how I started. I will say, you might want to start with the low point, Bayverse, just, I don't know, not for younger people. Or if you like all that darker stuff. Oh, and Bumblebee is also a pretty good starting part up there with TF1. That's also works kind of as a, you can either watch that before the Bayverse or if you want to skip the Bayverse, you can just watch it because it's different. It's made to make both fans happy. Alright, that video was probably a struggle to watch, but thank you all for sitting through it with me, and if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment with what show, if you already are a fan, what show you started with, or if you're a new fan, what show you want to start with. Or you can ask me questions for a future Q&A that I'm thinking of doing. Alright, have a great life, you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.